Hello and welcome. Thanks for joining me. I'm Cheryl. This is Your Journey Yoga. And today we are going to use our bolster. If you do not have a bolster today for our Yin Yoga session, you are welcome to use blankets. If you need multiple, just a pillow from the couch, something that just feels good to you, that's supportive, and enough height to allow you to really surrender in and relax into the poses. Sometimes you can use blocks, but really just something really soft. So towels stacked, blankets stacked, whatever feels good. Okay, so we're going to use that bolster. We're going to use that tool to help let go. This is going to be so great, you guys. Yummy Yin Yoga. It's really about slowing down and focusing on that breath, finding your edge within the pose where you can truly surrender into the breath. So if this is your first time with Yin Yoga, welcome, first and foremost. And realize that it's okay to be a little uncomfortable, that it's about finding your breath within that pose that may be just a little bit uncomfortable, and finding a little bit better space in your body, your mind, and in your heart, and definitely in your breath. Okay, so just keep that in mind. If you do need to come out of the pose before I give you that cue, you can absolutely do that. It is not a big deal. And just work towards spending a little more time in that pose. So with Yin Yoga, holding the poses for a fairly decent amount of time. So just take it at your own pace. And if you need to come out, come out. Don't judge, don't criticize. All right, you're here. I'm happy to have you. Thank you for joining me. So with this, our bolster, we're going to turn sideways, just so we have the length of our mat. If you want to keep facing me, that is absolutely fine. And I want you to turn your bolster so that it's the long way. So if you happen to have a pillow and it's a rectangular pillow, just so that you've got the longest section coming forward. And we're going to pull that pillow up right next to your shins and just slowly walk your hands down. So we're going to let the forearms rest and then allow the head to rest. So our Yin Yoga session today, we're going to focus on those hips. Goodness knows our hips need love. Those hips have a tendency to really hold negative energy, tension, tightness, anxiety. For whatever reason, it just really likes to live in those hips. So I want you to play with it a little bit. Forehead down, or perhaps the side of your head. Just what feels good to you. If you do turn your head after several breaths, taking it to the other side, using those big, deep diaphragmatic breaths. Sometimes it's challenging when we come forward to really get those big, deep breaths. Doing your best to do just that. So if you've chosen to be on one side of the head, just turn and place the opposite side down. A little love into that neck, a little range of motion through that cervical spine. Hopefully noticing just that surrender into the stretch. Intensity getting less and less. And that intensity can get less and less by really focusing on your breath. So when we get into some deeper poses and we hold those deeper poses, oftentimes you can feel uncomfortable. You are never stuck, my friends. Always moving if you need to move. This is about being kind and giving love back to the body. Your body gives so much to you every day. This is to give back. And then slowly walk those hands back up. And just take a moment. Give those shoulders a big roll up and back. And shoulders slide down and away. And we're going to take that left leg and we're going to extend it out. So I'm going to turn back to face view, that left leg extending out. And again, we're going to take that bolster, your pillow, your towels, whatever it is, out in front of you. And you may need to move it out and away from you a little bit more, because I want you to rest on your chest, kind of just below the chin. So a comfortable place. You can stack those hands and just release down. So if it's too far, move it in. If it's too close, pull it away. And again, we can have chin to the back of the hands or to the bolster, so you can actually hug that bolster if you like, or again, you can tuck your chin. So I want you to be really mindful of that right knee as that right foot's pulled in. And then I want you to notice what that left foot is doing. Sometimes those toes want to roll forward. We're going to do our best to kind of roll them back, and then perhaps flex your foot. If that's just too much, just let your foot be soft. So again, we're just finding that space where we can relax. If that's your forehead, yep, that's your forehead. And some days are different, guys. So it's being present in today and whatever today has in store for you. So feeling that gentle pull in that inner groin, that gentle stretch for that right knee, into those hips, maybe even that lower back a little bit. Where do you happen to be holding tension? Can you let that go? So if it's because of the placement of your head, adjust. If it's because your knee is tucked in too far, pull your foot out and away from you a little bit. Let that breath just flow. Oftentimes, the chatter of the mind just takes over. See if you can quiet that mind. And if you keep getting a repetitive message that, hey, my knee doesn't feel very good, or my ankle doesn't feel great, or hey, can you adjust my back a little bit? Yeah, listen to those messages, adjust, and then quiet that brain back down. It's meant to work, it's meant to go. But it also needs some time to refresh and recharge. And let's slowly, gently press it back up. Walk those hands back. Give yourself enough room that you can switch sides. Oh, and shake out that leg a little bit. So having that knee bent for that while, is that all right for you? Do a little point and flex of your foot, a little rock side to side. Just checking in, little love for that right knee. Making sure, so we want to keep that range of motion in the knee, but we certainly do not want to irritate it. So just listening, all right? So, and that left side, is this the right place to be? If you need to pull that foot out and away from you a little bit, if you need to tuck it under, if you need to extend your leg out, make it happen. And let's walk it forward. And again, finding that space that feels good to you. So is that your chin? Is it your cheek? Do you need to pull that pillow in, that bolster in a little bit more? Do you need to move it out and away from you? And we're going to check in. What is it with that right foot? Has it rolled forward? We're going to roll it back. Opening up that hip. And then just kind of get rid of the wiggles and let yourself settle in. So if you guys have been with me for a while, you always hear me say, that definitely our body is not mirror images of each other, that right and left side. So one side you might notice feels totally at ease, relaxed. You can easily let go and just settle in, finding that edge and staying connected to those big, deep diaphragmatic breaths. Where the other side, you can feel kind of on the struggle bus, that things just aren't letting go. It's okay. It's okay. Be present. Don't judge, don't criticize. That negative energy, you guys, is just going to settle more in those hips. We're just going to do our best to be our best each and every day. And some things we don't have any control over. The weather influences us. Our bodies respond to pressures, low and high pressures, to sunshine or cloudy days, to air quality. The stressors in our life, yeah, sometimes we have control over those things. But those things you don't have any control over, let them go. Oftentimes we're caretakers, right? We can't fix everything. So those things that are in other people's control, not your own, let that worry go, my friend. It's okay. Keep the faith that it will work out the way it's supposed to. Let your eyes be soft, let your jaw relax, and let that breath just flow. And let's slowly walk it back up. Kind of like waking up from a nap, right? Extend that left leg out, give it a little shake, roll that foot side to side. Just checking in, give a little love to the knees. Now we're wide. Let's stay wide. Let's take that bolster and we're going to turn it lengthwise again. So we're going to take this out so that your tummy and chest can rest on the bolster, on the pillow, on the blanket. So long ways is best, but if you feel like it's better for you to just do that horizontally, absolutely. So whatever's right. And we're going to take those hands and we're going to walk them down the bolster, down the pillows. And we're going to take it down to the place where you can relax. So if you're not super flexible through those hips, guys, and it's immediately you're like, oh my gosh, I want you to pull that bolster in, those blankets, that pillow right up by your tummy and let yourself come forward and just kind of wrap those arms around that bolster, okay? I want you to flex those feet. So if you have the flexibility and you're like, I want to go a little bit deeper than this, okay, so you can relax your head here. If you want to go a little bit deeper, I'm going to say this feels pretty darn good. So even if you are more flexible and you're able to go deeper, maybe just for today, stay here and relax. If you're like, no, I want more, pull that bolster away and allow that tummy to kind of come down more, a little bit further. And then turn cheek, chin and nose, forehead, whatever you need to relax. And you can place as much weight on your forearms as you need, or you can extend those arms out and completely relax all that body weight down onto your bolster. So for me today, I'm going to take it super easy and I'm just going to relax. Tummy down, chin down, a little tuck of my chin towards my chest. Just feeling that length in the spine. Now, I just noticed that I was really doing an anterior pelvic tilt, so kind of tipping my pelvis forward. I want to press my tailbone back towards the mat. It just feels so good. Relaxing and letting go of tension. Do I need to flex my feet or soften those feet? Do what you need to do. And just playing with the timing of your breath, seeing how slow and steady, how long you can take your inhale. And then whatever count that was, see if you can match your exhale to that count. Slow and steady exhale. So as we slow down into our Yin Yoga and we really focus on that breath, almost a meditative state where the mind is clear, present within the space of our body. And we're letting go. And we lift our head, and then ever so slowly start to walk those hands back. Take a second and just alternate bending knees. Walk it out. Beautiful. Take that bolster. And again, I'm going to turn lengthwise on the mat. You can stay wherever you need to stay. And I'm going to open up those feet so that it covers about the width of my bolster. So my heels are resting on either side. Knees are open out nice and wide. Now again, beauty of the bolster, beauty of the pillows, any kind of tool is that you can move it wherever you need it to be. And we're just going to round forward. And I'm going to wrap my forearms kind of right along my shins. And I'm going to relax the weight of the head down. So similar to where we were, only those feet have been drawn in. A little more range of motion through the knees and through the ankles. Still working that external rotation through the hips, still working the groin. Still letting go through that lower back. So even though we're working the hips, guys, that lower back's getting some serious love as well. And if ever you need to adjust where the hands are, yeah, just make that adjustment. It is truly amazing when you come into poses and you feel that total release within that edge, when your breath just lets everything be free. Exhale it all away. Now starting at your tailbone, slowly roll it up. One vertebra at a time. Just let your hands slide up your legs and sit up nice and tall. Now we're going to take that bolster and we're going to set it off to the side just for a moment. And we're going to tuck that left foot underneath us. Right foot's going to come up and over. So as we come forward, foot is up and over. And now we're going to work that outside of our hips. So we've been doing a lot of the inside, the groin, through that inner thigh, and now we're going to get into that outer hip. Pulling in nice and tight. Breathe. Wrapping the crook of the left elbow around your knee, pull it in nice and tight. Now we're going to hold this pose for just a bit. Breathe, turning and taking your gaze just beyond that right shoulder. I want you to really feel that length in your spine. Let that breath just be slow and steady. Little tuck of your chin down towards your chest, down towards your collarbone. And slowly release that rotation, just bringing your eyes back to face front. And let's switch sides, tucking that right foot underneath. Left foot comes up and over, sitting up just as tall as you can sit, and just gently pulling the knee in. So as before we move into that deeper stretch, really just checking in, guys. So that left hip, giving it some love, feeling that IT band Nice long stretch. Activation through the arms, through the chest, activation through that core as we sit up nice and tall. Now, if there's an immediate guarding in that hip, I want you to close your eyes and really focus on it. And only if it's right, wrapping the crook of that right elbow around the knee and pulling it in. Now turning and taking your gaze out over that back shoulder so you can stay wherever it is within this pose that serves you best. A little tuck of your chin down towards that left collarbone. Being mindful of that breath. Letting go of that shallow breathing and really going for that deep diaphragmatic breath. And slowly, gently releasing that rotation. Eyes the last to come forward. Nice work, my friends. Sweeping your feet around. Let's come up onto all fours, grabbing that bolster, your pillow, your blanket. Once again, we're going to open up those knees nice and wide, and we're going to lower ourselves down, placing that bolster wherever you need it, where it's going to be comfortable. And we're just going to come to child's pose. Our extended child's pose, those knees are open out nice and wide, turning and taking a side of your head to your pillow. And just breathe. Surrendering your weight into that bolster. You can open up those knees as wide as you want them to be. If you're like, I really prefer my knees to be together, yep, make that happen. This is your journey, my friends. If those legs are wide, I invite you to bring those knees together just for these few moments, because we're going to take it into a deeper frog pose in just a moment. So giving your body an opportunity to just really chill, relax. And if you've been on one side of your face, switch to the other and just promote that flexibility in that cervical spine. Big, full, deep breaths. And as you're ready, come on up. Come up onto all fours. So for our frog pose, this is a pretty intense groin, hip, inner thigh stretch. So we're going to open up those knees just a little bit wider than the width of your mat. And we're going to work to keep the knees and the hips in line as best we can. Now, options for your bolster. If you happen to have a block handy, you can also use the block. You can actually shove the bolster so that it's going to be supportive of your hips as you come down. I would recommend this. So this is a great place so that you can really focus on your form, and you can come on down and just let your head be heavy and rest to the back of the hands. So I'm supporting through the belly and through the hips, and I am really just allowing my body to totally surrender down. if you prefer, and you're like, I want that deeper stretch, I want you to pull your bolster back, and I want you to support it more now underneath your tummy and your chest, so that you can kind of just hug your bolster and let your chin rest, but let those hips open. The biggest thing is you don't want those hips to drop back too much or come forward too much. So allowing those knees and hips to remain in line. Feet can be in or feet can be out. So if you want more intensity, pull those feet out and away from you so you're making more of a 90-degree angle with those legs. So up to you. But I want it to be an edge, right? So it's kind of that little space between effort and effortless where, yeah, you're definitely working, you're definitely feeling a good stretch, but we're not too far on the one side of the fence or too far on the easy side of the fence. Always better to be on the easy side of the fence. But we want to try and find where we're just right on the fence, okay? So where the breath is flowing effortlessly, where the body is able to let go, where we're feeling a nice dull ache of a stretch, but no pain. So maybe for a little bit, you're resting on the tummy and the chest, and then you're like, wow, this is getting pretty intense. So you slide that bolster back to support underneath the pelvis. You're not ever stuck in a pose, guys. And let's slowly lift. Bringing those hands back underneath us, elbows underneath us. Oh, lift those hips. And once again, sit it back to child's pose. This time, bring those knees to touch. And just release all that upper body down. It's going to feel like you're permanently separated just for a second. Give yourself a sec. It'll go away. Beautiful job. All right, my friends, we've got one more beautiful stretch to enjoy. One of my all-time faves. So as you're ready, lock your hands up. Come over onto one hip. Sweep your feet around, and we can release that bolster kind of off to the side so it's out of the way. Go ahead and slide on down towards the top of your mat, and we're just going to take it back slow and steady, just as safely coming onto your back. Now, if you have a pillow or a blanket or anything and you want to place it underneath the back of your head, you can absolutely do that. Let's pull that right knee in. Right arm extends out to a T. Left hand to the outside of the right knee. Now, our bolster is off to the side. So if it's by chance on that right side, switch it over to the left if you like. You don't need it, but if you'd like it, to just gently rest that left knee on. And then open your gaze out to the side. Find your breath. So that right knee is just gently resting on the bolster, but again, it doesn't have to. These tools to assist us to make it a little more gentle. But if you love that stretch, guys, and you don't necessarily want to take it to the gentle, you want it a little bit above the gentle, not quite too intense, just take away that bolster and let gravity pull the weight of the body down. Connecting to that breath. Smile on your face. I'm always in awe of the ability of our bodies to adapt, to change, to get stronger, to gain flexibility. Our ability to change our anatomy just a little bit, stand a little taller, create space in those joints, strengthening those muscles, releasing tension and tightness, entanglements and fascia. You guys, we can do some powerful stuff. with mindful movement and with breath. Slowly release it back to center. And if you like, shifting that bolster over to the right. And we pull that left knee in, left arm extends out, right hand to the outside of the left knee. And gently guide your knee across. So again, just resting that leg on the bolster if you like. If you prefer it not to be there, that's absolutely fine. And then turn your gaze out over that left arm. Let the weight of that right arm be heavy. Let the weight of your head be heavy. Focusing on that breath, the inhales and the exhales. We release that right hand and roll it back to center. Placing that bolster anywhere where it's out of the way. If it's out of the way for you, just leave it where it is. And let those arms come down by your sides or rest your hands on your tummy. We're going to pull those feet in towards your bottom, and we're going to open up those feet just a little bit wider than the width of your hips and let your knees gently come to touch. Now, if you're not comfortable with that, guys, it's fine. Find a place that is more comfortable for you. Make whatever adjustments you need to make with the placement of your feet, the placement of your hands. Close your eyes. Let your breath just flow. We rest those hands on the hips, sending love and energy into those hips. A sense of peace, a sense of calm, as we have done so much work to let go of that negative energy that hides in those hips. Keeping those hands resting on the hips, bring those feet together, soles of the feet come together, and allow the knees to open. Feet can be up close by your bottom or out far away. Just let those knees be heavy. A reclined butterfly. Slowly, gently rolling to one side, closing those knees. Just take a moment on your side. And as you're ready, use the strength of your arms to help you come back up to a seated position. Rest your hands comfortably, close your eyes. Gently bring the index finger to touch the thumb. I hope that your hips are saying thank you, that you've enjoyed this time away, that there's a little smile on your face and a lightness in your heart. Let's bring those hands to heart center and gently open the eyes. My wish for you guys always is health and happiness, light and love, always, each and every day. May the sun shine on your face. May the wind be at your back. May you stay just as happy and healthy and be the very best version of yourself that you can be. And thanks for joining me. Until the next time, namaste.